Ben Simmons might be the most polarizing player in the NBA as of today, with the point guard most recently declaring that he intends to never play another game for the Philadelphia 76ers ever again after putting up an absolute stinker of a series last playoffs. After all of that, Simmons is being rightfully clowned upon, but mainly for the wrong reasons in my opinion. Simmons is still a valuable player despite what some people might say, but certainly frustrating as hell, and here's why. Ben Simmons has long been a point of discussion amongst NBA fans, largely due to his unique mold, being a 6'11", 240-pound point guard who can't shoot. Not even a bit. Despite the lack of an outside shot, however, Simmons' physical frame, defensive ability, and vision was attractive enough for the Philadelphia 76ers to select him number 1 overall in the 2016 NBA draft. And he certainly proved that he's been worthy of that pick, resulting in a huge 5-year, $170 million contract extension. Most recently, the young socialite has had a rather disastrous end to the season, especially with his free throw shooting. As a result, the 76ers were eliminated in 7 games by the upstart Hawks, leading to a dramatic offseason, including both Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers seemingly throwing Ben under the bus, as well as a barrage of criticism thrown Ben's way, both from fans and media. As a result, the relationship between Simmons and the 76ers brass has soured tremendously, starting with rumors of a Lillard-Simmons trade, to the 76ers asking for way too much in terms of return value, and now with Simmons refusing to ever play for the franchise according to Woj. And of course, throughout all of this, fans and media alike have had a lot of things to say about Ben, both as a player and a person. And while understandable, things have gotten a little out of hand. Simmons is certainly a flawed player, but he is also still a great player. People are acting like he belongs on the Guangdong Tigers when he was just recently a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I too also am not a fan of Simmons, but not exactly because I think he's a bum, or even think that the 76ers would be better off with a washed John Wall. No, I'm not a fan due to his lack of willingness to improve as well as his overall attitude, both of which I believe are related. Simmons came in as a number 1 overall pick due to his size, athleticism, and passing ability. It was not exactly a secret that he couldn't shoot, but front offices believed that they could teach him to do that, something that people always believe is the easiest part of one's game to fix, despite countless examples of the opposite. I partly blame this on Kawhi as of recently, as he's probably the best example of a prospect actually learning to become a great shooter to combine with the rest of his game. But not to be confused, Ben's skill set is and was an amazing starting package for an incoming player, and it proved to be effective, with Ben earning 3 All-Star nods in 4 years of play. However, the issue is that despite Ben being a great player already, he has done absolutely nothing to show improvement in his 4 years of playing in the NBA. His stats have largely remained identical throughout all 4 years, even decreasing some this most recent season. And most importantly, Ben has shown absolutely no development in either of his jump shot or his free throw shooting, the latter of which was the main point of criticism in the playoffs, where he shot a staggering 34% from the line. Now, if you compare that with the rest of the NBA, where they shot at least 75 free throw attempts on the season, which is the same amount that Ben took during last season's playoffs, he is by far the worst shooter. Yikes, dude. Point guard, by the way. And Ben is still offensively the same exact player he came in as during his rookie year, which is not exactly what you want to see out of a guy that you just signed to a 5-year, $170 million extension, a guy who is supposed to be your franchise cornerstone along with Joel Embiid. If you take the earlier figure we looked at and compare it to the trajectory of Embiid's career, it's a stark contrast and improvement. Joel started as a raw but skilled player out of Kansas to an MVP caliber center, while Ben remains largely the same player as his rookie year. But why hasn't he improved since his rookie year, you ask? It's largely due to one reason: his attitude. To me, it seems like he's perfectly content with who he is as a player, which is fine. Not everyone needs to have that type of drive to become better all the time. and obviously it's worked out more than fine for him considering his huge contract. However, it's his unwillingness to work out with anyone else other than his brother, his priority of young socialite type of things, and his fear of being embarrassed during a game that really irks me. So let's go over each of these things. Firstly, reports state that Ben's only shooting coach is his brother. I mean, if your shooting coach taught you to shoot like that, why is that man anywhere near you? We've also seen that he hasn't leveled up his jump shot at all throughout his 5-year NBA career, yet he remains insistent on only training with the same shooting coach regardless. Secondly, he's repeatedly stated that he's only ideally open to being traded to one of the California teams, wanting to avoid either the Trailblazers or the Raptors due to being the young socialite that he is according to rumors. I mean, sure, everyone has preferences to where they like to play, but is prioritizing the social scene really that important for someone who's getting paid generational wealth? Everyone has a right to their own priorities, but man, the fans will certainly be using the young socialite moniker every time Simmons has a rough night. Also, why is he acting like he's got any leverage here like he just didn't put out one of the worst playoff meltdowns of all time just a few months ago? Lastly is his in-game attitude, arguably the biggest negative I have of Ben. I think it's obvious at this point that his unwillingness to shoot is exactly that. He annually posts IG videos of him sinking fadeaway middies and threes in the summer just to go on refusing to even look at the basket when he's more than 10 feet out or even when he's open for a dunk. To me, he seems scared to be ridiculed by the fans and media for potentially airballing or bricking a three or a free throw. But despite his unwillingness to shoot, he continues to want to play like a lead guard. But I performed a principal component analysis, or PCA for short, just to get a visualization of how he correlates amongst his NBA peers, and all of his nearest players are all bigs. Even from the eye test, you can tell that his best role is a playmaking big a la Draymond Green, Blake Griffin, or even a Giannis. Like, dude, his average distance of a field goal attempt has been 6 feet or less his entire career. Like, this guy is a big, he is not a point guard. The difference is that all of those playmaking bigs either develop the jump shot or are unafraid of missing it. I mean, look at Giannis. That man has airballed hella free throws this year. There's memes about it, everything. But yet he still attacks the rim like he's a 90% shooter from the line. I think it's obvious that Ben needs a lead guard to play alongside him so he's not the primary ball handler and to hide his inability to shoot. It's not like players in the past haven't been successful without a jump shot. He just needs to stop playing like those tall ass dudes at the Y, wanting to be a guard instead of getting in the paint and be willing to be utilized like a modern big rather than being the star lead point guard like Dame or Steph. He's just not that type of player.
Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Yeah, boomer.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like and comment and all the stereotypical YouTube things.